Lunaria's first breath of Earth's atmosphere hit like inhaling dry soup, salty, spicy, and strangely arousing. Her boots sank an inch into asphalt as she glanced around the primitive environment, flashing signs, hunks of metal on wheels, and one human standing with a metal stick, shirtless, glistening. His muscles flexed while he hit something stubborn on the ground. "Target species identified," she whispered, voice trembling. "Specimen exhibits violent ritual behavior with metallic instruments." Danny cracked his neck, unaware of the celestial judgment unfolding meters away. "Damn vending machine ate my coins again," he muttered, crowbar swinging. The machine groaned, hissed, and then sparked violently. That's when Lunaria appeared, half-phased and stuck inside it, eyes wide and robes glowing. "Yo, you good?" Danny blinked. "You cosplayin' a Jedi or something?" She didn't understand half the words, but the tone, it stirred something. "Assistance. I am compromised," she declared, trying to dislodge herself. "You. Primitive male. Extract me with your tools." Danny smirked. "Well, I do come equipped." He gestured down, Lunaria's eyes followed. "Not there. No, wait. There." Her cheeks flushed a shade of ultraviolet. He approached and started yanking on a vending panel, muscles rippling in ways her textbooks never described. "You're kinda wedged in there. Lemme handle this real slow." The phrase had no scientific weight but made her knees weak. "Your sacred casing shall remain intact," he added, sarcasm thick. "Your rituals are cruder than expected," she breathed, mesmerized as he wrapped duct tape around the panel. "Yet effective. What is this binding resin?" "Duct tape," he replied, without irony. "Holds the universe together. Or my mom's car. Same difference." The vending door gave way, and Lunaria tumbled forward, colliding into him. She gasped, his chest was warm. Alive. Slightly sweaty. She inhaled sharply. "You emit pheromonal vapors, unfiltered. Unprocessed. Intoxicating." Danny blinked. "That's just Axe body spray, sweetheart." She looked up at him, inches away. "You have saved me. I am yours." "Whoa," Danny chuckled. "Listen, Luna, I'm flattered, but I don't do cults. I am Lunaria of House Velaskai, second star of Elysium's Core Council of Truth. I must document you. Study you. Worship your biological architecture." He paused. "This some kind of fetish thing?" "No," she replied, deadly serious. "This is science." Danny shrugged. "Cool. You hungry?" "I got protein bars. They taste like chalk and regret." She accepted it reverently, sniffed, licked once, and recoiled. "This is considered nourishment?" "Barely," he said. "Keeps the gains up though." Her gaze roamed over his form again. "Yes. Your muscular density suggests regular exposure to resistance rituals." Danny raised an eyebrow. "You mean, gym?" "Yes. The chamber of repetitive torment." He laughed. "I like that. Sounds metal." "I must remain close to observe. The council prohibits physical intimacy, but worship through analysis is permitted." "You wanna crash at my place?" "It ain't much, but the Wi-Fi works." She nodded solemnly. "Yes. To your domicile, so that I may scan your form across multiple rest cycles." Danny looked at the sky, muttered to himself, first the lizard guy, now this. Aliens really out here Wilden, then looked back at her. "Yeah, alright. You're weird. But I dig it." As they walked away, Lunaria sent a mental log to her ship. Subject responds to direct engagement. Initial contact successful. Physical proximity induces elevated pulse rate. Primitive tool usage, arousing. Further study required. Beginning Phase 2, Close Quarters Observation. And somewhere deep in orbit, her AI assistant flagged the phrase arousing and updated her status to emotionally compromised. Monitor closely. Lunaria didn't care. Her hypothesis had changed. Humanity wasn't just chaotic, it was dangerously attractive. Danny stretched and cracked open another protein drink. So, Luna, you single on your planet, or is this like research with benefits? She didn't blink. On Elysium, coupling with a sacred specimen leads to spiritual implosion. So, no pressure. Danny raised the can in salute. Guess we'll take it slow then. Danny's apartment smelled like old takeout and testosterone, but Lunaria entered like it was a temple. Her eyes scanned everything: the weights on the floor, the glowing screen flashing workout of the day, and the single poster of a woman holding a cheeseburger in a bikini. She tilted her head. Is she your mate? Danny looked up. Who? Oh, nah, that's just a Carl's Jr. ad. She's selling burgers. She is offering flesh in exchange for nutrients. A barter system? Sorta, he chuckled. You'll get it. Lunaria sat cross-legged on his yoga mat, wrong side up. Begin worship sequence. Danny blinked. Worship? Yes. You granted me your space. Now I must initiate tactile reverence to your biological architecture. He scratched his neck. So, like a massage? No. Scientific mapping. Muscle density calibration. Data extraction through skin contact. Well, damn, say less. He flexed instinctively. She moved closer, touching his bicep with 2 fingers. Massachusetts firmness. Sacred tension. This one pulses with primal fury. Danny chuckled. You talk like a fantasy audiobook. I report truth. You are dense in a way my kind finds difficult to process. He grinned. I've been called worse. She trailed a finger down his forearm. These limbs are forged for chaos. How do you control such wild strength? Push-ups and Red Bull. Lunaria nodded solemnly. Your rituals have meaning. I must learn. He handed her a dumbbell. Start with curls. She gripped it, immediately tilting sideways. Heavy. That's 5 pounds. Your gravity offends me. Danny adjusted her posture. You gotta keep your elbows tight. She followed his motion, awkward but determined. The struggle enhances the connection. To what? To your sacred form. And to my curiosity. After 3 reps, she dropped it. Your kind willingly inflict strain for aesthetic appeal? Yup. Madness, she whispered. Beautiful madness. He offered her a protein shake. You're gonna need this. She took a sip, paused, and blinked rapidly. It's thick. Slightly sour. Like regret and ambition in liquid form. That's the flavor. Birthday cake, disappointment. They sat in silence for a moment. Lunaria stared at the poster again. Her pose lacks dignity. Yet I feel something, awakening. Danny smirked. It's called fast food lust. Totally normal. She stood suddenly. You must disrobe. Danny choked on his drink. Say what now? For scanning. I require full visual data of your epidermal distribution and lower musculature. Okay, but just so we're clear, you're not trying to harvest anything, right? No. Merely observe. He removed his tank top. Her eyes widened like solar eclipses. By the stars, you shimmer. That's sweat. She stepped closer, hands hovering. You emit pheromones from every pore. It is overwhelming. Trust me, I know. Deodorant can only do so much. She gently touched his back. Your spine, it's like a ladder to enlightenment. He winced. Also scoliosis. Suddenly her comm device buzzed. She answered with a flick of her wrist. Alien language poured out. Danny caught none of it, but her face said it all. When she finished, she turned to him. My council has demanded a report. They suspect heresy. Well, we did lift weights and touch arms. Scandalous stuff. They fear I've gone too far. That I now revere the primitive. You do call my body sacred. Because it is. He shrugged. Guess I'll take the compliment. Her fingers lingered at his side. If they knew I've slept under your roof, consumed your nourishment, traced your glutes. Danny coughed. Hold up, what? Last night. Your regeneration posture exposed them. I analyzed passively. My man butt? Yes. It is symmetrical. He grabbed another shake. Look, Luna, I don't know what you're doing with your species or your council or whatever interstellar religion you follow, but you don't gotta worship me. I'm just a guy. She frowned. But you are more. No, really. I do taxes, eat noodles over the sink, and watch cat videos until 2 a.m. There's no cosmic wisdom in this six-pack. Just carbs and poor decisions. That humility makes you holier. Danny sighed. I don't even know if you're flirting or writing scripture. Both. Her gaze softened. You've changed my thesis. Before I came, I believed humans were dangerous. Instinct-driven. Prone to irrational acts of physicality. We are. And yet, those traits magnetize me. Danny cracked his knuckles. Look, if you're staying, you might as well hit leg day tomorrow. We start with squats. She blinked. Squats. You'll love them. It's like worship, but for glutes. Her smile twitched. Then I am ready. Let the sacred torment begin. Lunaria's report submission triggered a red alert across 5 Elisan sectors. The Council of Spiritual Preservation summoned an emergency session, broadcasting her thesis title in scandalized tones, The Divine Structure of Human Flesh, a Worshipful Exploration. Within minutes, Elder Tvok fainted. Others debated whether to exile her or canonize her. Back on Earth, Danny had no idea he was at the center of intergalactic panic. He thought Lunaria's new obsession with photographing his abs midlift was just an alien quirk. She insisted on calling each pose a devotional stance. When he wiped sweat off his brow, she whispered, "Your moisture sanctifies the air." Meanwhile, Lunaria's data logs went viral in Elisan black markets. Footage of Danny lifting a refrigerator for fun was dubbed proof of Terran strength rituals. In less than 12 hours, Danny had a fan club of 37 billion alien worshippers who referred to him as the Ripped One. The Council, desperate to contain the spiritual chaos, sent a holographic decree: cease all contact with the human before Elisan youth tried squatting Earth males into prophecy. Lunaria ignored it. Their fear confirms my truth, she muttered. He is the chaotic divine. Danny noticed her acting weirder than usual. You okay? You've been staring at my delts like they owe you money. I'm under cosmic scrutiny, she said flatly. If I continue, I risk excommunication. Well, that sounds serious. And yet I cannot stop. Your body compels reverence. Danny nodded slowly. It's the push-ups. I knew they were holy. An alien dropship appeared without warning above Danny's building. A booming voice declared, "Hand over the specimen of carnal divinity, or we will enact spiritual quarantine." He stepped outside holding a protein shaker. Y'all really flew across the galaxy for some creatine gains? The ship scanned him. Biological readings confirm subject is abnormally swole. Lunaria pushed forward. He is not a threat. He is art. You defy your creed, the voice snapped. I defy ignorance, she shot back. He taught me that sacredness isn't sterile, it sweats. It strains. It flexes when it doesn't have to. Danny tilted his head. Damn. That was kinda beautiful. We must neutralize the anomaly, the ship warned. Danny raised a brow. Define neutralize. Contain, study, and possibly dissect. He raised both arms. Alright, let's all breathe. I'm just a guy who lifts and microwaves frozen burritos. I'm not trying to be anyone's messiah. Lunaria stepped between him and the ship's targeting beam. Harming him is heresy. I have redefined divinity. My thesis is sound. You risk the collapse of spiritual protocol. Then let it collapse. He deserves to be worshipped for more than just his abs. Danny turned, touched. Even the love handles? Especially the love handles. The council cut the transmission. A moment later, Danny's phone buzzed. A new app appeared, Worship Me, official human shrine network. Already had 200,000 downloads. Mostly aliens. Danny sighed. You know, I was gonna spend today reorganizing my sock drawer. Lunaria touched his hand. Now you are reorganizing a civilization. Do I get royalties? Possibly worship offerings. He perked up. I'm listening. News spread fast. Elysians began mimicking human workout videos, lifting gravity balls while chanting Danny's reps. Lunaria's controversial teachings flooded forums: sweat is sacred, protein is prophecy, and the gluteal gospel. Danny scrolled through the messages on his phone. One said, "You flexed, and I cried plasma." Another wrote, "My mate left me for a life of earthly repentance. She bench presses in silence now." He handed the phone to Lunaria. They're forming a religion. Based on me. And my biceps. They are waking up. To what? To the truth your body hides. Danny sighed. If I'd known skipping leg day would spark an interstellar crisis, I might have done another set. You did enough. He looked at her. So now what? You gonna stay? Risk it all for the guy with holy triceps? I already have. He looked out at the night sky, full of invisible satellites and judging alien eyes. Well, I hope the galaxy's ready. Because I still burp during sit-ups. She leaned in, voice low. And I will worship every sound. Danny's life had gone from routine to absurd at light speed. His inbox was flooded with messages, one from a lawyer claiming they owned his likeness for galactic distribution, another offering him a sacred sponsorship deal with some intergalactic protein brand, and a third from an alien species trying to arrange a cultural exchange in which he would teach them how to lift weights. The last one had an offer to melt down any celestial species' spiritual resistance. He rubbed his temples. I just wanted to bench press and eat pizza in peace. Lunaria sat across from him, holding a tablet that was flashing with constant alerts from the Elysian Council. The galaxy has exploded with your cult, she said flatly. Elders fear that your influence will alter the very foundation of their religious teachings. You don't say. Danny tossed the phone aside. This is getting out of hand. I was literally just trying to fix a vending machine, and now I'm, like, the second coming of intergalactic body worship? You possess the form that they crave, Lunaria said, eyes trailing over his arms again. The chaos, the unpredictability. Your body is the symbol of everything they lack. Danny leaned back in his chair. Luna, I'm just a guy. I've got no divine blueprint here. I don't have the answers to the universe. But, hell, if they think my abs are a roadmap, I'm okay with it. You are a beacon now. Her voice softened. And you've changed me. He chuckled. Changed you? I've seen the way you look at my chest like it's an ancient scroll of wisdom. You sure you're not just worshipping the gains? She didn't smile. You've made me rethink everything. The Elysians were once perfect, free of flaws. But I see now that imperfection is what makes you special. He raised an eyebrow. Is that why you're still here? Yes. She put down the tablet. But there's more. My people have started to rebel against me. Rebel? He looked at her, confused. Over what? You trying to tell them my diet plan? They want to take you, Danny. Control you. Use you to become the standard for evolution. Danny leaned forward. So they want to turn me into some kind of intergalactic pin-up? She nodded. Yes, but not just a pin-up. A symbol. Of strength, dominance. But it would strip you of your humanity. He stood up, pacing. I didn't ask for any of this. All I wanted was to live, lift, and eat burritos in peace. And now I'm a galactic sex symbol? A walking blueprint for divine chaos? Lunaria stood up too, reaching out to him. You are more than that. You are the answer to their empty pursuit of perfection. They've forgotten what it means to live with flaws, to struggle, to sweat. Danny took a deep breath, trying to process it all. So they think they can just what? Control me? They already have, she said. You're the star of their cult now. Your image is spreading faster than any of us can control. Danny smirked. And they think that's gonna make them happy? Just more plastic bodies lifting and flexing for the sake of some divine order? That doesn't sound like freedom. It is freedom. Freedom from their sterile perfection. They've built their entire existence around ideals. You, Danny, you're the opposite of that. You're chaos. And they fear it. Well, they're gonna have to learn to deal with it. Because I'm not going anywhere. Lunaria's eyes softened. You don't understand. They're coming for you. Let them come. I'll fight for my right to be a mess. A sweaty, imperfect mess. She stepped forward, her voice barely a whisper. I'll be with you. We'll do this together. Danny met her eyes, seeing the sincerity there. And what do you want, Luna? To stay with the chaos? Or go back to your perfect, pristine, soulless existence? Her gaze never wavered. I'm staying. Chaos is where I belong. Suddenly, the door rattled, a booming voice calling from outside. The chosen one must be brought to the council immediately. Danny smirked. Tell them to hold their breath. I'm busy. Lunaria raised an eyebrow. You do realize you've just declared war on the most powerful spiritual force in the galaxy? He grinned. What can I say? I'm a disruptor. The door burst open, but Danny didn't flinch. Lunaria moved in front of him, her presence a silent defiance. Take him, if you must, Lunaria said, her voice cold and commanding. But remember, this chaos is more powerful than you know. And if you think you can contain it, you're mistaken. The alien figures hesitated, their expressions unreadable. It was clear no one had ever dared challenge their authority so directly. Danny looked at Lunaria. Let's go show him how human imperfection can topple even the most perfect of worlds. She nodded, her expression resolute. Together. And with that, the alien delegation backed off, unwilling to fight for something they could never truly understand. In that moment, Danny realized something: he didn't need to be a divine figure to have power. His humanity, his imperfections, his flaws, those were what made him a force to be reckoned with. And as long as Lunaria stood by his side, there was nothing they couldn't face, together.